before the UFC takes a weekend off to just recuperate and recover from the stretch that they just had. They have business to attend to at the UFC Apex in the welterweight division. In the main event, we got former title challenger Gilbert Burns going up against Ecuadorian prospect 17-0 Michael Morales. And then in the co-main event, we have a little bit of a slop fest in the light heavyweight division between Paul Craig and Rodolfo Bellato. I gotta be honest, this is one of the weaker cards throughout the first 5 months of the year, 5.5 months of the year. So, if you're gonna miss it, I don't totally blame you. And yeah, it is what it is with the Apex cards sometimes. I do want to apologize in terms of the tardiness of the quick picks this week. I was feeling a little under the weather yesterday when I was originally supposed to record this. Still feeling it a little bit, but it's Friday. So I got to squeeze this out for you guys. Thus, here we are. We're going to have a triple header of segments dropping for you guys today for UFC Vegas 106. From this to the Lockheed Trinity / Lockheed two-step free parlay to the prop drop, which I will stagger throughout the day here. So just turn on your notifications, hit that subscribe, and you'll know as soon as these segments drop for you guys. Also a reminder, Octagon 71 goes down Saturday morning as well, and I have written breakdowns and track plays for those cards on the Lock of the Night Patreon page, so make sure you guys check that out. And that's where you guys will also be able to find next week's content. There is no UFC, but there is Road to UFC, which I'll do a video breakdown for the first card, but the other cards I'll only have in written form on the Lock of the Night Patreon page. And we also have LFA next week, which I'll be dropping a video for here on YouTube, but we'll also have written breakdowns and track plays. Once again, that's all at the MMA LOT and Patreon page. All right. Hope you're laced up and ready to go because we're off and running with the first fight of the night here between Tisha Pennington and Luana Pinheiro. This is a surprising one for me to see Pennington as such a big favorite, as Pinheiro will match her in the physicality, maybe be the better striker in terms of landing more significant damage, and I think she's very live to pull off the upset here. Hence, I'm going to start with her to pull off the upset to begin the card by decision. Next up, we got Hyung Sung Park going up against Carlos Hernandez. Park is one of my favorite Korean prospects right now, and I believe he has enough firepower, physicality, and athleticism to really put it on Carlos Hernandez here, whether it's mixing it up in the striking or eventually looking for takedowns and mixing it up there. But I think Park can land more significant damage, and that will ultimately be the difference maker. Next up, we got Elise Reed going up against Denise Gomes. Similar to the first fight of the night, I'm very surprised at the line being as wide as it is here, as Gomes is not this crazy high-level grappler, nor somebody that often looks to grapple or maintain a lot of control time, which has kind of been the issue for Reed in the past. If this turns out to be a strictly striking battle, Reed can be very competitive here, given the Taekwondo background that she has. I'm going to lean with Gomes with her physicality and maybe some clinch work that she could grind this one out, but don't be surprised if you see me betting on Reed or Reed actually even pulling off the upset here. But in terms of an official prediction, lines aside, I'm going to go Gomes and Gomes by decision. Next up, we got Luana Santos going up against Tainara Lisboa. Line has started to move towards Santos during fight week, and I have to slightly agree, although with not a lot of confidence. I think her grappling background from her BJJ black belt and her her black belt in BJJ and black belt in judo will allow her to get these positions she needs on the ground to stay away from the Muay Thai and striking advantage that Lisboa more than likely will enjoy here. But again, Santos has been a little bit flaky in the striking realm, and if she really can't close the gap there, she will have some trouble on the feet. But I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt that she ends up grinding this fight out and winning by decision. Next up, the UFC debut of Yadir Valle going up against Connor Matthews. I think both guys have some questions in the UFC. Obviously, Matthews 0-2 thus far, but Valle seems to be good or better at Matthews than whatever Matthews normally brings to the table. Look for Valle to utilize his physicality, forward pressure, and just grinding ability to wear Matthews out and win this fight on the scorecards. Next up, we got Jared Gordon going up against Thiago Moises. Very fun fight here, very tough puzzle, but I have to lean with Gordon's pace and pressure. Moises has looked very good against certain opponents, but he doesn't do well against guys that can set the pace, and Jared Gordon is exactly that guy. So as long as his durability can hold up here, I expect Gordon to grind this fight out, put a high pace, maybe get a late finish, but for the most part, I think he ends up winning this fight on the scorecards. Fun fight here between Gabe Green and UFC debutant Matthias Camilo. I do like the raw just tools that Camilo brings to the table with the power that he has, the aggressive BJJ game that he has, but I really think the under 2.5 in this matchup will be the way to cash some tickets here. I'm going to lean Camilo as I think Green been away from the game a little bit too long, coming back from injury, going back down to 155 pounds. I think it's going to be a bad wake-up call for him to have this return down a weight class. Even though that's where he had the majority of his career pre-UFC, I think Camilo is just going to be a little bit too much of a buzzsaw, and that will lead to Camilo getting the TKO finish. Next up, we got Julian Erosa going up against Melquizael Costa. Fun matchup here between two guys who are remaining very active thus far. This will actually be the third time that Costa steps in the cage within the last 5 months, and I think his just aggressiveness and unorthodox striking approach can really catch Erosa off guard. Erosa's last 6 of his 7 losses have come by knockout, and I feel like Costa can replicate that here by taking advantage of some of the mistakes that Erosa makes, leading to Costa getting the finish. And again, similar to the previous fight here, I like the under 2.5 as well. Next up, we got Dustin Stoltzfus going up against Nursultan Ruziboev. Everybody loves some Ruziboev. Obviously, he has some big power and will have the striking advantage here, but we've seen him get grinded out by lesser grapplers than Stoltzfus. As long as Stoltzfus has really minded his P's and Q's in this fight and really sharpened his game with the help of Extreme Couture, he should be able to utilize his BJJ black belt and wrestling improvements to get Ruziboev to the ground and then grind him out from that top position, either winning this fight on the scorecards or eventually finding a submission. Next up, we got Sodiq Yusuff going up against Myron Santos. The public is kind of low on Santos recently because of that, controversial decision win he had over Francis Marshall a few months back. But I think that this is a very winnable fight for him against Sodiq Yusuff. I expect Santos to dictate the pace here, throw a lot of output and volume, and that should ultimately muzzle Yusuff, who I think needs a knockout to win this matchup. But I'm going to lean with Santos, putting together a good body of work to eventually win this fight on the scorecards. Next up, we got a clusterfuck of a light heavyweight matchup here between Rodolfo Bellato and Paul Craig. It's similar to a couple fights earlier on in this card. I'm very surprised that Bellato is this big of a favorite. He's not this super technical, high-level fighter, and Craig could absolutely pull off one of his BJJ finagling positions to try to get this fight to the ground and maybe find a submission victory of his own. I'm still going to lean with Bellato as I think he has a little bit better hardware, good durability, and great cardio, and that should allow him to out-damage Paul Craig, shut down the submission attempts, and eventually find the finish in the second or third round. But again, I would not be willing to pay minus 500 on a fighter like this. And that brings us to the main event now, as we have former title challenger Gilbert Burns going up against Michael Morales. Now, Morales, huge favorite here, which I don't think is justified considering the strength of schedule of Gilbert Burns, not to mention the 3-fight losing streak that he's currently on has come to the 2 guys that fought for the title just this past weekend, as well as Sean Brady, who's absolutely streaking right now. And we have to give Burns the benefit of the doubt that those guys were just really high level. He is going to be the championship gatekeeper here to Michael Morales, and he will put up a really good fight. The issue is, if he can't dictate the pace with his striking, if he can't get to his takedowns and enjoy copious amounts of control time, he really starts to fade in terms of his cardio, his efficiency, and that's where I think Morales can really start to take over, hurt him on the feet, and eventually put him away by knockout. But again, minus 800, tough to get behind. The under 3.5 is where I'm more than leaning in this matchup, but I think the Ecuadorian improves his record to 18-0 by knocking out Gilbert Burns. There you guys go. quick picks for UFC Vegas 106. I'll be back in a few hours with the Locky two-step, and then a few hours after that with the prop drop. Stay tuned to the YouTube channel page. Hit that notification bell so you know exactly when I drop, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Peace.